Shane Gillis, live on stage.
I'm a bit of a history buff, which, by the way, that is early onset Republican.
His biggest tour ever is coming to Des Moines.
You're a white dude in your 20s and 30s, and you're like, I can't stop reading about World War II. It's coming, bro. You're right.
See Shane Gillis with his unmistakable comedic style. Live at Wells Fargo Arena Saturday, May 31st. Get tickets now at iowaeventcenter.com. For more, visit ShaneMGillis.com.
The holiday tradition, a Birkwood Farm ham. It's the highlight of the meal, the centerpiece of the table. It's what brings families together. The Iowa tradition from Iowa farmers. Birkwood Farms hams are gluten, MSG, allergen, and nitrate free. Buy yours now at the Birkwood Farm store on the south side of Ankeny or at betterpork.com. Order yours today. Your family's favorite holiday memory, a Birkwood Farm ham.
Murph and Andy, proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru and BMW of Des Moines. Live and on demand across Iowa everywhere. From the Channel Seed Studios. This is Murph and Andy. Murph and Andy. Connected by Cellular Advantage.
Let's do it. It's Murph and Andy on Iowa Everywhere. Alongside Andy Fales and AD, I'm Keith Murphy. And Andy, Christmas, 1 week from today. 1 week from today. You ready?
No, I'm not. It did dawn on me, though. I heard somebody say that earlier, and I was like, no, you mean it's like
Nope,
it's like 2 weeks away, right? Or 10 days away. No, it's 1 week away from today. Man, it comes up fast every year, and then it'll be gone. I don't want it to be gone.
It's that late Thanksgiving that has made it seem like it's here too fast. It startled me, too, when I saw today. 1 week from today? Yeah, 1 week from today is Christmas. Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines sets the table for today's sports and more. Coming up, Drake never loses. Caitlin's 22 retired and favorite 2024 movie. Not necessarily best, but favorite. That all presented by the Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines. Right now, high or low since our last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Yeah, so if I could go back in time, one of the things I would do would be set up a Roth IRA when I was still in my 20s.
Man.
That I wish that I would have done that, because time is your biggest asset at that point, and you can't ever get that back. But it's never too late to start, and the gentleman there at Wealth Charter can help you set up that Roth IRA and get your retirement rolling in the right direction. It doesn't matter how old you are, you just got to do it and get that going. But one call to Wealth Charter will set you on that path, guys.
High or low?
Well, we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but there's no question. My high is watching my team last night win.
The Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs.
I mean, I had worked ahead. I was in a good spot, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to sit here in this edit bay and watch Kobe Gaines' tiny little TV that he has a subscription to ESPN Plus on. I'm going to watch the rest of this game. So I caught like the last 5 minutes of regulation and then overtime. I was yelling at the screen. I mean, it felt like March. Yeah, I know the whole newsroom.
I'm 40 feet away. I could hear you.
I felt so good. Oh, my God. That's so fun. They had no business.
We're going to get to all of that here soon. I think many people anticipated that would be your high. My high is just that I followed my own advice yesterday. You know, I sent my lifelong best friend, John, a text message, happy birthday. And then I thought, you know what? I need to pick up the phone and call him, because we just don't do that much anymore. In fact, sometimes when the phone rings, I think, what's wrong? Because we just don't talk to each other as much as we used to. You and I do, and you and I and AD, we talk every couple of days, but we don't have a lot of face-to-face conversations anymore. And I picked up the phone and called him, and I was just so glad I did. And it was an easy high, just reconnecting with an old friend, not through text message, but just having a conversation. And you know how it is with your buddies or in some cases, your brother or your sister. You just fall right into those old patterns of what makes each other laugh, and you tell some of the same old stories. And A bunch of time went by, and I was like, wow, I'm so glad I did this. So that was my high, and I encourage everybody, especially if you know somebody here around the Christmas season that might be a little bit lonely or just would love to talk to somebody, pick up that phone. It'll make you feel a little high, too.
Yeah, I mean, anything's better than nothing, right? I mean, a text message is better than nothing.
Absolutely.
But a phone call is better than a text message, or a handwritten letter is better than a text message. I mean, just the more personal that you can make it, and of course the face-to-face is as good as it gets. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I sent out a stack of Christmas cards yesterday. I'm not done. I've got a few more that I still have to do, but it just felt so good to put that stack of Christmas cards in the mailbox. And then I made the mistake of making a social media post about it, and Kahala immediately was like, "You realize that people
Somebody who doesn't get one.
get one." And I was like,
Yep.
You know what? I'm not good at thinking about that stuff ahead of time.
I thought of that, too. I was like,
I had that thought. I was like, I wonder if I'm.
am I going to make the cut?
Yeah.
Did
Well,
I make that? I
You
tried to
guys
zoom in on that
did
top address.
you did make the cut. Don't worry
Okay.
about it. Yeah, but I
Little bit of
mean,
relief.
somebody, they're not going to make the cut. I'm not good at thinking about that stuff ahead of time. I'm just not. And I just, I'm to the point in my age where I'm not, that's not going to change. So I'm just going to be me. And, apologies to anybody that is offended that they didn't get one.
that can happen with social media party posts. You put on Instagram this great party you had, and there's all these people having a good time.
You're
and
not there.
Somewhere out there, there's somebody watching it, looking at those photos going,
Yeah, I know.
wasn't invited.
Our lives are at least what the portions that we want them are so much more public now that I think that people just have to sort of, because it is hard. I mean, watching other people that that you're friends with having fun without you.
Right.
Even though you don't want to be invited to all of their stuff, right? I mean, it's a burden. It's you don't have time to do all that stuff, but just seeing them do something fun without you, and it's just kind of like, oh man, I didn't need to see that.
Interact on YouTube. The email is Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com, on X, Murph_Andy. It is all powered by the cellular advantage, now with 35 local, central Iowa, and, regional locations. Cellular Advantage, proud partner of U.S. Cellular since 1993. Let's get the buzz.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
Andy already mentioned the buzz. It's his high today. The Drake Bulldogs may never lose. 10 new players. 10 new players. Most of them previously at a Division II school, Northwest Missouri State. And they go to Kansas City and play Kansas State. And Drake wins again, one of only 4 D1 men's basketball teams still undefeated, because Utah State lost last night. So it's down to 4 perfect teams remaining. Drake, against all odds, is one of them.
I mean, when you say against all odds, you mean it.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I can't believe this is happening. I really can't believe that this is happening. This is a team that lost everything. They lost everything. And there's Nate Ferguson and they lost their great coach, probably if not the best, one of the best players in school history.
2-time conference player of the year.
His entire supporting cast lost everything. And they hired a D2 coach who really just had to step in and fill a roster full of warm bodies so that Drake could play this year. I mean, at least that's how the fans looked at it.
Of
just
course.
like, let's just get through this year and maybe you surprise a couple of teams.
Yeah, be patient is kind of the mantra with this kind of setting. And Ben McCollum comes in. We're seeing how he won 81% of his games and 4 national championships. It's incredible. One of the players, John Sears doing a story on that this week, one of the players, Mitch Mascari, who hit 8 3-pointers last night, he was done with basketball.
Yeah.
And McCollum he was going off he had already graduated. He was going into the working world. And McCollum asked him, hey, you want to take a shot at D1 basketball and help me out here? And he said yes.
8 threes last night. And we don't even know these. I still don't know all their names. I don't recognize them. I keep calling them Garrett Sturts.
Yeah, same. And I spell his name wrong.
Yeah, right. Yeah, with a U.
Stirtz. Bennett Sturts.
Yeah, and did Bennett Sturts look like he didn't belong in that game last night? Did Mitch Muscari look like he didn't belong in that game last night? No. I mean, Drake fans keep raising the bar, right? Okay, this is, this is fun while it lasts, but wait until they have to go to Kansas City and play Kansas State. That'll give us a real litmus test on how this is going so far for the season. Absolutely no one expected a win in this game. I think people are confident enough that they weren't surprised to see Drake play well, even get out to a big lead. I mean, a 20-point lead in the first half. That's more than anybody expected. But they've seen enough of this team just playing fundamentally good basketball to think that, okay, they'll go down there and they won't make a fool of themselves. But this is where the fun stops. This is where the house money runs out, right? I mean, that's what we thought. But they get down there, they put a chokehold on that entire crowd early. And that crowd really never did come back because the Wildcats, even when they got the lead in the second half, they couldn't build on it. Even when they clearly showed that, defensively they were superior, size-wise they were superior, Jerome Tang put a lid on some things and he started stopping, the Sturts and Muscari that they needed to stop. Even when that happened, Drake didn't fold. They didn't quit. They just kept going. They just stayed in the game and then got into overtime. I mean, that was so fun to watch them with that final possession just decide, no, we're not taking a timeout. We're going to keep
20-point lead, as you said. They blow the 20-point lead or they lose it for reasons most people expected, but they just keep scrapping. They get into overtime, and here is that final possession where Bennett Sturts, K-State fan, by the way, grew up a K-State fan, K-State family, in Kansas City at the T-Mobile Arena, hits the game winner.
No timeouts. Drake's got to shoot it. Sturts got it! Incredible! Still time to tie it for another overtime, and Drake wins it.
Man, the audio courtesy of ESPN Plus there. So this game technically goes down as a neutral site. It really feels like it was a pseudo
called the Wildcat
Invitational for
Invitational.
Kansas State. Yeah, it's a Wildcat Invitational. How is that neutral? But Drake wins it, improves to 10-0. Now with wins over Kansas State from the Big 12, a win over Miami, a win over Vanderbilt. Of the 4 undefeated teams, 3 are from the SEC, and then there's Drake from the Missouri Valley playing Doug Gottlieb and Green Bay coming up this Saturday in Des Moines. I know the students aren't here, but that certainly should be a big crowd of appreciation that shows up at the Knapp Center. It feels like we haven't seen this team play in Des Moines much. But one of the things that really stands out here, Andy, and it's been pointed out all across the country and not just here in Iowa, is Kansas State has what is thought to be a $2 million NIL player, Coleman Hawkins, $2 million. I mean, Drake may not have $2 million in NIL for all sports over the next decade.
Yeah. Yeah. This is that's just really good coaching, players listening to their coach, executing a system, and just playing. I mean, they were just cold-blooded last night.
Yeah,
right? I mean, they needed Bennett Sturts needed a blood test after that game because I guarantee that shit's ice cold. I mean, he was unflappable. He just eventually took over and he was the player of the game. So, I mean, that was amazing. And, they're playing with house money right now. They are. I mean, this is all just a giant bonus. But look, I mean, when that's the case, you don't want that house money to run out because when it does, you may not get it back. I mean, really, they'll lose eventually. And then the huge test is, can they get back up onto the horse, because this happens to teams here and there. This isn't the craziest thing anybody's ever seen. But the question is it the craziest thing that Drake has ever seen, right? That Des Moines has ever seen? Because recency bias gets us all, right? I mean, it affects us all. We
second best start in school history.
We think it's the latest. This is the second best start in school history. Is that what it is?
18-0 was the best.
Okay. I don't remember when that was.
That's the team of teams.
The team of teams? What year was that?
Whenever Drake got all the way to
the Final Four.
No, to Tampa and broke their heart.
They lost early in that season.
I thought they started 18-0.
I think they won 18 in a row. But
okay.
they lost to St. Mary's early in that season. But yeah, I mean, you're right. You're barking up the right tree. I mean, this is the greatest story since 08. And, there are fans that don't remember 08, or they've already, forgotten it or whatever. Keno Davis's team.
Right.
Okay, let's not pave over that team just yet. Okay?
That team was incredible.
That team was more incredible than we remember it being. And friends of mine and I started looking back at that team last night. I mean, that team, first of all, Keno Davis had no experience. He didn't have any experience as a head coach. He comes in, Adam Emenecker did no interviews on media day.
That's right.
He was a
just
walk-on.
Stood over in the corner.
I think he actually got a scholarship like right before the season started. I mean, he was nobody. He went on to be the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year, and Bucky Cox was a walk-on. Josh Young was a shooter, but I don't think considered a great player. Leonard Houston had played for a while at Drake, but didn't score all that much. He wasn't a great player. They lost to St. Mary's, 4 or 5 games into the season. And then they beat Iowa, Iowa State, UNI, Creighton, Wichita State, and everybody else in the Valley before they lost again.
Had that big win at Butler in the field house on national television. That was awesome. Mike Mahon, longtime sports information director at Drake. He stays on top of everything. He's letting me know, and I appreciate this. So this is Drake's second 10-0 start ever. As I said, you're right, Andy. I got the season wrong. Good reminder on the St. Mary's. It was the 2021.
Okay,
so it's
they
just
started
4 years ago.
Yeah.
They started 18-0 under Darren DeVries. So recency bias, not even that long ago.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I had forgotten about that. I mean, those Darren DeVries had so many good seasons altogether. Some of them did clearly blend together, but it wasn't. That was Darren DeVries. Those are better. That's a better team. Those are better teams. I mean, this was a roster that was just like swept clean. Mm-hmm. So is this the greatest story in Drake history? Jury's out.
It's too early
on it right now.
It's
but
too early.
The question is it's a fair question, but the jury's still out on it. But still, that 08 team is still the best story, Drake story of my lifetime.
I agree, because that team did something this team has yet to do. Clearly, more and more people are getting interested. But that team started getting the Knapp Center full with fans of basketball, not just Drake fans of basketball that wanted to see something special. So everybody started to get invested in that team, and it was unfortunate the way it all came to an end. But AD, let's get a quickie poll here from WCI Pools and Spas and see what we're going to have here, because both of these Andy's emotionally invested in.
Yep.
Which is more unlikely, that Drake starts 20-0 or that Cam Ward plays for Miami in the Pop-Tarts Bowl against Iowa State?
And Andy has said if that happens, he will cut off one of his fingers.
I'm going to cut off a finger if he plays in that bowl game.
Drake starting 20-0 into the conference season now. Well, play Green Bay here. They'll beat Green Bay. Green Bay's bad under head coach Doug Gottlieb. I'm pretty sure McCollum will outcoach Doug Gottlieb. Then the conference starts. There are some good teams in the Valley, but at Bradley might be the challenge in these 10 games at Bradley that might be the most difficult. I don't know. They can definitely start 20-0. It's unlikely. I'm going to go with Cam Ward playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. He said he's going to play.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's said it, or he said the plan is still to play.
Right.
But that game's getting close.
That's
right?
2 weeks away?
Yeah, it's the 28th, right? I mean, yeah.
Not even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like 10 days away.
Yeah, it's just after Christmas.
We don't know because
they're running out of time for
change.
And I'm gonna miss that finger. I'm gonna tell you that.
Ooh, yeah. I've been told that you should go with the left pinky.
The left pinky.
Mm-hmm.
I smashed that one in a car door anyway, and
it's already
so
jacked
deformed.
Up.
Yeah, I've been wanting to lose that one anyway. But no, I'll cut this finger off. I will lose a finger.
All right.
After this, but 20-0, I can't picture it. I just
it's never happened.
Seems ridiculous. That does seem ridiculous.
It does. Meantime, K-State sounds miserable. Here's the supposed alleged $2 million NIL man, Coleman Hawkins, after the game.
Personally, I feel like it's us versus everybody. I can't go on my phone without people wishing the worst for me and wishing not just for me but for our team, and it devastates me. I just went on my phone and saw someone say, "I hope you break your leg." Like that's the kind of stuff that our team has been dealing with all year, and it affects me so much because like I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. And we go out, we practice every day, we play hard, we're doing the best we can. So it's just my message would be it's us versus everybody, and we can control what we can control, and all the other stuff we'll just have to tune out and lock in the rest of the way come conference play.
Video thanks, NBC's KSNT. Andy, this is the worst of social media right here. I mean, he's not the only one who feels like this. Most Kansas State fans are not wishing ill on these players or want anybody to break a leg. That's awful unless you're about to go do a play on a theater stage. This is just terrible. So many young people would benefit from getting off social media and all the trolling, cruel criticism that comes with it. But it's like a drug. And it's hard to get away from. And as Fred Hoiberg told us a long time ago, you can get 100 compliments and you'll focus on that one negative criticism. And that sounded like a guy in some pain over this. I mean, he really sounded hurt. And I don't blame him. I would be too.
Yeah, and the players also have to do their part, which is like not get on social media and not read that stuff. And that's really hard to do. Because, I mean, we've all been there. You get on and it's 98% compliments and you're just rolling through these compliments and feeling great. You want to read one more and it's somebody telling you they wish you'd break your leg or something. And then that's the one that you remember and then that ruins you. But, they need to do that too. I mean, I mean, if you don't want to, that stuff is out there. It's going to be out there. They're going to be people when they know that you've made $2 million or have an idea that you've been paid big time NIL to come play, and then you don't play well, those people are waiting for you. So I just think you have to be disciplined and not go there. Don't meet them where they are.
Here's Kansas State head coach Jerome Tang on player criticism.
Yeah, we it is hard. I'm 58-year-old man and I feel it, and I tell the guys that I feel it, and it changed how I was coaching early in the year, and I've been real transparent about that, and I had to find that balance, of that, because I'm called to love these dudes and help them mature. They're still young men, right? Like 18 to 23-year-olds that they have to learn how to grow and handle it. And the lack of leadership at the NCAA and some of the decisions that were made with people way above my pay grade has put us in a vacuum where we have no direction, and we've thrust all this upon these young kids, right? And then we tell them, now be adults, right? Like I heard Fran Fischella say the other day, when a kid from another school missed a shot, he said, they pay him way too much to miss that shot. Right? I watch NBA games and they never say that about NBA players who make way more money than that. Right? But Fran spoke what everybody's thinking, but it's the wrong thinking. Right? It's wrong. And so man, all we're gonna do as a staff, we're gonna keep loving these dudes. We're gonna teach them how to deal with the anxiety that comes upon it, and view it differently, and build their faith, in something that's greater than just bouncing a basketball, and help them to handle this so that they can become the men, husbands, and fathers that they're capable of being.
It's a video from WIBW. We could do the whole show on just some of the things.
Give me
he
a
said
break,
there.
Jerome Tang.
Yeah. First of all, they are adults. They are being paid in
Professionals
most cases.
do get that said about them all the time.
Yeah, and the NBA players receive widespread biting, trolling criticism constantly.
Major League Baseball, NFL, NHL, all pros hear that stuff all the time.
It's much of that is ridiculous.
Don't
but
try
we'll
to
move
play
on.
victim. Yeah.
Confluence, the official beer of Murph and Andy. It's Wednesday. Maybe a delicious Confluence beer at the end of whatever you're doing today will help you get over that hump day. Week away from Christmas.
Hey, that's an easy Christmas gift. Just a 4-pack.
Or
put a bow on
go
it.
all in.
The bow goes right on top. Looks like it's like a little skyscraper. It's perfect.
And if you know somebody who doesn't drink, they also have NA Confluence too. So yeah, you can find something there for sure. Other hot topics. Iowa announces it will retire Caitlin Clark's number 22. That'll be February 2nd. I doubt that's by accident. That's 2-2. Iowa's playing USC and Juju Watkins that day. Caitlin Clark and her family and friends will be there. Tickets have quickly gone from the $100, $150 range all the way up to $800 to more than $1,000. I don't think that will change before this game takes place.
Good job. This is exactly what they should have done.
It's not a surprise.
This is why you didn't do it at the end of last year. You wanted to hang on to something, have another card to play. You don't want to wait until next year. That's waiting too long to do this. This is perfect.
Yeah, and in the University of Iowa release that they put out, it was a reminder, because I think we forget sometimes because she's become this sports icon and so popular. I know Bill Simmons has made the case she's more popular than any NBA player under the age of 30, which is quite a statement. And she's such a big star right now and such a cultural celebrity that you forget all of her accomplishments, or you can. I mean, this isn't just a star now. This is the two-time National Player of the Year who set the NCAA scoring record, the tournament record, that had those buzzer beaters, who was an academic All-American. She won every award you can possibly win in women's college basketball, but also won all the amateur athlete awards as well, and then went into the pros and was good as advertised. So the list that Iowa put out of all the things she's won and all her accomplishments, I've never seen a longer list.
Yeah, of anything.
Yeah, not for something like this. So 2-2, congratulations. If you want a ticket, get another job. The ISU women get run by another top 5 team, lost by 40 or so to South Carolina. And same thing happened last night to UConn. This game was not competitive at all. It was like 36-10 after the first quarter. And Audie Crook scored 22 points, but UConn just showed how far away from being like a Final Four team or an Elite Eight team Iowa State is right now. The Cyclones have plenty of time to fix whatever's missing, but they're a bit of a mess right now. They're in a bumpy patch. They've dropped out of the rankings, and you saw last night why.
Yeah, and Bill Fenley's teams often turn it on later in the season, and they get everything on the same page and get it right, and then you wonder how in the world they lost the games at the beginning of the season. But is there a women's college basketball team that had a tougher start to their schedule than Iowa State? That's played a tougher schedule so far?
They've had some tough games, sure.
Well, I mean, South Carolina,
UConn,
Iowa, Drake and UNI. I mean, they've gone through a meat grinder already. And the problem is they haven't done very well in that meat grinder. They've lost almost all of those games, and a few of them that have been close. So, I mean, it's a really tough schedule, and you hope that down the road, just having played that schedule will make them more battle hardened, and more likely they get it figured out and end up benefiting in the long run. But right now, they got a bunch of losses. It's been a tough start.
They need better shooting. They looked a step slow against UConn, and they just couldn't hit shots, and UConn couldn't miss for a while. Iowa State extends TJ Otzelberger through June of 2032. Also extended Matt Campbell. Both of these things make all the sense in the world. These are head coaches in their 40s who like the fit at Iowa State, do not look around all the time and look for the next rung on the ladder. This is a good fit. TJ Otzelberger not only is likable and great to be around, but Andy, he seems like he is just a perfect fit for this college basketball world. He knows how to build a roster. He knows what he needs for his style of basketball. When his players come in, they play hard. They realize they're going to have to play defense and rebound. He has that culture where everybody seems to like and support each other regardless of what their role is. And it shouldn't be lost, in 3 seasons, coming out of a 2-win season, he's been to 2 Sweet 16s, been to the tournament every year, and has his best team this year, currently ranked 3rd, and is a legit threat to get to the Final Four and maybe even compete for a national championship.
It also just looks like he's well equipped to coach and recruit in this day and age of college basketball. He just seems really
doesn't mind it.
He's got the skill set. That was his strength anyway, was assembling teams. I mean, that's been the thing that TJ Otzelberger has been doing since he was like in grade school. I mean, it just comes naturally to him. It doesn't seem like there's Iowa State fans will hate to hear this, but it doesn't seem like there's any chance that he wants to leave Iowa State. But you don't want there to be any chance, right? Any reason, any reason. So you do what you can. You can't sit back on just sit back on your, confident hammock and believe that he ain't leaving. You got to still be proactive. You've got to make sure you're taking care of him and giving him everything that he could possibly need at this point.
The sample size is big enough. You know what you have. Lock him up. This made all the sense. I will say I don't need to hear from one more fan of any team today that Ben McCollum is going to be coaching somewhere else next year. I think I've heard from 5 people from different states. Ben McCollum had chances to move up a long time ago and didn't leave Northwest Missouri State. I wouldn't make any assumptions about him. Want to see a grown man happy? You get him a custom version of a high school football jersey. Dolphins linebacker Anthony Walker had this great idea, and he gifted all of his teammates a replica of their high school jersey and brought that into the locker room. These are guys that they're trying to figure out, what do I get these multimillionaires? What do I get Tua in his $200 million contract? But he got them each a perfect jersey from their high school. Had them all made. Just the work that went into this. I'm sure he had an assistant help him out. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen grown men in the locker room happier than the gift of their high school jersey. And I get it. You bring me a Hurricanes 11 in orange that makes me look like I have salmonella, I'd be so happy anyway.
There was one year, this would have been probably 25 years ago. I called, this is before the internet, before you could use the internet to order anything at least. I called my dad's high school, like the secretary at my dad's high school, and I worked it out where I sent her a check and she sent me a sweatshirt from his high school in his
I bet he
size.
loved it.
And I mean, he didn't, it wasn't a jersey or something like that. But it was a sweatshirt. But I have a picture of him opening that on Christmas morning, and that was like, he was notoriously hard to buy for, didn't ever really want anything, and he's just got the biggest grin on his face, just smiling ear to ear as he's holding up this Upper Arlington Golden Bears sweatshirt, and he wore that thing out.
Those are the kind of thoughtful gifts, if you could think of something for somebody in your life, not necessarily that, but just something thoughtful like that. Boy, nostalgia hits like nothing else does. Bowl game last night. AD, Andy, can either one of you tell me who was playing, what the name of the bowl was, who won?
Nope.
It was...
wasn't the Drake Bulldogs. I was watching them.
No, it was the Frisco Bowl. It was close, and Memphis beat West Virginia. I was trying to remember who won. I tried to store it in my memory and then didn't care enough to actually do that. Let's get some more here on a Wednesday.
But wait, there's more from Either Or Eatery and Patio.
Either Or is all dressed up as Tinsel, the holiday pop-up bar right now through the end of the year. Looks absolutely beautiful. You've got to try it. They've added new menu items as well. The Urbandale City Council voted last night to, Andrew, hold your breath or cover your eyes. They are moving trick-or-treating from Beggar's Night to Halloween.
AD,
no more Beggar's Night.
Let him respond. This is a passionate thing. He gave a 30-minute speech and it didn't work.
I'm disappointed in my community. I thought this last year made perfect sense, where it's like, hey, you give yourself a night of leeway. I guess all the other things I do on Halloween are gonna have to now shift back to Beggar's Night. So like my church's Halloween concert will be the night before, I guess. Yeah. Because I imagine this is the first domino in all of these falling. There will not be a Beggar's Night in October 2025, and I'm going to shed a little tear for that.
Dominoes are falling.
Suck it, AD.
Ankeny has already done this. Waukee and West Des Moines have done surveys, and I know a little bit about the West Des Moines surveys. So they really thought that people would choose to have it on the Saturday, have trick-or-treating on the Saturday before Halloween. But it sounds like most people want to just have it on regular Halloween, like the rest of the country. Mm-hmm. Like it makes too much sense not to do it. So
like Halloween?
Yeah, right. Like have Halloween on Halloween. So it sounds like that's probably going to be the way that everybody goes. And yeah, Andrew, you're right. Beggar's Night is dead.
Yeah, and AD, maybe this is an inspiration for you to have have Christmas on Christmas. Or Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day. Or maybe Thanksgiving.
Yes,
maybe have the meal on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, because we don't celebrate Christmas the day before. We don't celebrate New Year's the day before.
He does really have this argument
we don't do
put
anything
together.
Yeah, he does.
He does. He's ready.
Yeah,
Jesus
I would
was
fight
born
back
on
if
Halloween,
I cared.
So it's the only day you can. Oh wait, never mind.
That's Christmas, it's supposed to be.
Maybe.
Speaking of other things that are dead, Victoria's Secret in Valley West Mall.
Really?
Rest in peace,
man. I slowed my walk by there a few times.
This shop was so funny. You would go in there. Whether you were shopping with your wife or girlfriend. I mean, this has been there since I was in college. And you could just see, like, the guys, how uncomfortable they were in there. Like,
nothing else like it.
They were uncomfortable and fascinated at the same time. They're like, really want to stop and look at some of this stuff. But they really don't want to do that. They got to keep moving, right? I mean, they can't make it. They can't look too interested in that stuff.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's like when first time friends took me into a strip club, one of the strippers actually walked by and told me, honey, you need to relax.
Friends took you into the strip club, Murph. They gagged you and dragged you inside. You didn't use your legs.
Oh, it sounds like I've told the story. Yes, That's exactly how it went down.
You wanted to go in there. Come on. A new study says a quarter of parents use the Santa's watching threat on their misbehaving kids. That's it?
A quarter?
A quarter of them? That's it?
Come on. What are you doing?
100% on this panel.
Absolutely.
hey, Santa's watching. I mean, maybe they're saying a quarter of them like really lean into the threat. Look, I have my camera. I had my cell phone running on you when you were naughty, and I have sent that to Santa.
Isn't the whole Elf on the Shelf thing just a Santa spy?
Yeah,
like,
it's a Santa spy.
We don't do that, but that's what the whole premise of that
Helps.
is, right?
Yeah.
My wife Jenny took this whole thing up a notch. She used to tell the kids as they were shopping at Target that all those camera things were Santa's elves looking down to make sure they behaved while they were in the store. And it worked.
Santa is Big Brother. That's right, yeah.
Santa as Big Brother.
Another survey says 56% of respondents cleverly conceal their true feelings about a not-so-great present by using their resting gift face. And 57% believe they've mastered the resting gift face. Everybody does this,
Let's see
right?
yours.
Everybody does it, yeah.
I'm sure mine is not very good. Oh, no, this is great. No, you don't have that already? No, I don't. I mean, not
thanks, Murph. Another book.
Not on this floor of the house. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Everybody does that. Now, here's a bunch of people with funny laughs making each other laugh.
This proves it. Laughter is contagious. I'm laughing.
I can watch that guy all day long. The Scratcher Girls, founded by Tony George, is the world's first professional back-scratching studio, offering sessions for up to $130 an hour. You can see some pretty long nails there, at least on the woman in the middle, the one on the left. On a number of them. Yeah. The service involves light scratching and tracing on the back, limbs, scalp, and ears, which George says helps clients relax and release feel-good endorphins. Due to its popularity, especially in the ASMR community, George and her team travel to major cities to meet demand.
Any word on a happy scratch?
I love having my back scratched. My wife has long nails. Like the kids and I, even the dogs line up to get our backs scratched by Kahala's nails. I understand why this is popular. Dyer's Burgers in Memphis. Big old truth burger they served up here. They have been frying their patties in the same grease since 1912, calling it the secret to their famous flavor. The grease, which they point out is carefully strained and seasoned, has become a tradition, with some customers even asking for their whole burger to be dunked in it. Restaurant goes through 1,000 pounds of beef a week, ensuring there's always enough grease to keep the tradition alive.
It's probably fantastic. I can see why it would taste this good. Are there health concerns or safety risks doing it this way? Because if not, keep doing it.
I mean, I'm sure there are some guidelines for how they have to do it, but it gets up to past a boiling temperature, so I'm sure it kills off anything that would be in there. There are Taylor's Made, right, in Marshalltown has used the same cooker forever. I mean, for like almost 100 years. I doubt they've had the same grease, but certainly the same seasoning in there. Finally, as we get ready for Mr. Movie, fans of the holiday classic Home Alone are no doubt familiar with the small but pivotal role that the late John Candy played in the film. Was he Gus Polinski?
Yeah.
Polka King of Sheboygan?
Were they the Kenosha Kickers or something like that?
Yeah, the Kenosha Kickers. Yeah, right. Yeah. You know what he got paid for that part? You probably do, Murph.
It was really low.
Yeah, $414. Said taking the part was a favor for a friend, and his time on the set was just 1 day. Director Chris Columbus says it's a great deal for him, of course. And much of what ended up on the screen was just John Candy ad-libbing, just him cooking. The funeral parlor story, he just made that up on the set.
Wow.
Total improv. Years later, there were times when Candy apparently took a few jabs about how much he was paid for the work in a film that pulled in $476 million. Apparently a little bit of resentment on Candy's part.
A little follow-up check would have been thoughtful. Something.
I mean, ultimately John Candy died with a fortune of money unspent, so it didn't matter. But I thought that's really kind of cool, though. I mean, he's already a famous actor to just drop in for a day for peanuts, just steal the scene.
When he has that familiar yearning to be recognized.
Yeah.
You know, when he goes through the album cover or the album titles and the songs that they've performed, and she just has a blank look on her face. She's distracted by trying to find her son, and he's just so disappointed. It's a great scene.
Yeah, he just played around the crappy venues in the Midwest, playing polka. That's your more, everybody.
Grimaldi's fan photos come to us, Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. You and your family, or you and your friends, just having a good time at any sporting event or any event period. You're just a fan. You're fans, you're doing something, and you send us the photos. We pick a winner each Friday, show that photo, and then send you off to Grimaldi's in West Des Moines or Ankeny at the Prairie Trail location. So keep the photos coming in. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Mr. Movie.
It's time to go to the movies with Mr. Movie, Mike Woody, presented by P&P Small Engines.
Yeah, P&P Small Engines reminds us that we're on borrowed time, Mike, and I don't think that's a shot at your age.
Oh, thanks, Keith. No, you're right. And everybody always waits till the last minute, and then they drive out there when it's, we've got 8 inches of snow, and they're mad because there's nothing for them to buy.
Ugh.
So they've been warned. How's that?
Get that snowblower ready right now.
Right.
Out of the box topic this week, our favorite movie experience of the year. Not the best movie necessarily that you saw, just your favorite movie experience. And I'm going to pick one that no one would call the best movie of the year, but I just had so much fun because it was an old-fashioned summer movie experience. It was Twisters. It's a sequel to Twister, which is tied to Iowa so much and something we can all relate to. And I went with the family. I had a great time at the movies. And I thought Glenn Powell, I don't remember the actress's name, but I thought they were great in the lead roles. I thought he was a big star in this movie. And I know not all of it was realistic necessarily, but it was just a fun couple of hours. We sat up close at the screen, and it just reminds you of why you sometimes need to get out of the house, not just stream something, get in there with a full movie theater, get some popcorn, some candy, some drinks, have the sound come all around you. And that was my favorite movie experience of the year, even though I saw better movies.
Yeah, I would go along with the same thing. I didn't see a whole lot of new movies this year, but the best experience I had was my son Eddie. I set up a book challenge for him. He read all these books, and I told him he could pick whatever movie he wanted, and he picked Inside Out 2, which, I was reminded he's still just 10, and when you're 10, you like all kinds of movies, and some of them may seem still a little young for you, but we went, and that was such a well-done movie. Inside Out, the original one, was great. I thought this one was actually even better. It's the rare sequel that equals or surpasses the original. This was great. We went to the Palms. We, devoured a trash can size bucket of popcorn. It was a really good day, and he loved it.
Mr. Movie, what are you picking here?
If we're talking about just how much fun you had in the theater. My nephew was in town this summer, and I took him out to the Palms to the IMAX, and we saw this very small summer movie. You know, it was almost an independent film called Deadpool and Wolverine. It made a couple bucks in the box office. But you know what? Here are two characters that I'm not big fans of. So I had low expectations going in. But I'm telling you, these two guys, and Ryan Reynolds especially, just completely shocked me and put out what I think was probably the best movie of the summer. I mean, it was so entertaining. It was so funny. And just when you think that they're done, it just keeps going. And
it does.
I don't know anybody that didn't walk out of that theater with a smile on their face.
Yeah, and it's rated R for all of the
good
things.
Reasons.
Yeah,
yes.
But it is. I went to this and I had fun, but the fun that I had wasn't what attracts many of the young moviegoers to this. What I love the most, I think, is the same thing you're saying you love the most. The banter, really, at its heart, it's like a buddy movie.
Yeah,
very
much so.
Yeah, and that's why I really enjoyed it too. So that's a good choice, and it made more than $1 billion, I think. So
yeah.
AD, you have a small independent film like Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like Andy, this just is dictated by where I am in life, and my kids are kind of dictating what movies we go to anymore. But The Wild Robot is such a good movie. Just on its own, but then as a parent, it's got some really intense themes. You're gonna get emotional if you're a parent when you watch this movie. It's so pretty, it's so well done. It's one of the best animated movies I've seen. I really liked Inside Out 2 as well this year, but the Wild Robot was the best movie going experience we had as a family all year. And again, anymore, it seems like the only movie going experiences we have are as a family. So that's going to win it for me.
I got to go to see this. I know I'll like this.
It is a great movie. It is. I've been working on my top 10 list, and it is high on my top 10 list. It was. I agree with Andrew completely. It's one of the best of the year.
The most fun I had in a theater this year was at the Palms when we rented the theater to see Gladiator 2. But since none of you showed up, and I mean 0 for 3, I picked Twisters. Not that I'm still hurt.
Well, if you had done it on Thanksgiving Eve, Murph, I would have been able to get there. But
That's
because
right.
it was on the actual holiday, I had
That's
other things
right.
going
I know
on.
you're a big on the holiday guy.
Yeah.
Let's get
Just
to the
like
reviews.
Just like in high school when you were trying to find a date for the prom,
There you
just
go.
don't show up.
I know. Mike Woody reviews movies here for us on Murph and Andy. Craven the Hunter. This looks crazy. What? Go ahead. I don't know anything to say about Craven the Hunter.
Craven the Hunter made his first appearance in Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man comic number 15 back in like 1964. This is one of Spider-Man's greatest enemies, and they finally got this movie right. Now, I've read a lot of reviews since it came out, and I may be in a minority on this one, but I took my son Tom, and we just had a blast. I mean, here's Russell Crowe plays the father of Craven, and he's really good in this role. He's got 2 sons. Craven turns into this crazy beast because he's got this serum that's made him super strong and attuned to hunting. It was a great time. It really.
So Russell Crowe is settling into the Marlon Brando Superman phase now, where he just comes in, plays a dad for a couple $1 million,
takes his check and goes home.
Pretty much, yeah. Pick up the check on the way out. But you know what? It was fun. It really was. I give it Is it a great movie? No. Is it a lot of fun? Absolutely, it is. I gave it a good solid B.
So it's probably a genre movie, right? If you like this kind of movie, you're going to like this.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And Keith, by the way, the actor's name, who you saw there in the chair, Aaron Taylor Johnson. This is 2 appearances for him in the week.
What's the other one?
What is this? A cover of a book?
Last week he was holding cards for Keira Knightley.
No, that's not him.
That's
Andrew Jackson or Andrew Lincoln. One of the presidents.
Andrew Jackson.
I don't know. I looked him up on IMDb, and that's what he said. That's what it said. So
this is a drawing of somebody.
Love Actually is more than 20 years ago. There's no way this guy was in middle school.
I'll double check it, but
all right, you double check that. Andrew Lincoln was the guy in Love Actually holding the cards. All right, we'll get that straight though. What's the grade for Craven?
It's a good solid B.
A good solid B. All right, Lord of the Rings, animated?
Animated. I went to this yesterday. You know, they have morning movies. I didn't know that before I kind of semi-retired.
Oh, I am aware.
But this is set 200 years before The Ring. So, you know, all of that stuff we've already seen is still 200 years away from this movie. The animation is absolutely horrible. It looks like some kind of rough version of a Scooby-Doo thing.
Looks like an anime.
But the story sucked me in. I mean, it was a really good movie. It's an epic film. It's about this king and his brother, and they're fighting over the kingdom and who's going to get who, and their sons and their daughters. I sat there and I was falling in love with this movie just as I was sitting there watching it. It's really good.
Well, it tells you it's testament to what a good story can do. I mean, the animated version of The Hobbit is way, way better than that stupid, flabby, 3-part.
God, you hated that.
Ridiculous Hobbit series that Peter Jackson put together and ruined his legacy doing. But the Hobbit cartoon, I mean, is as short as they had to cut that story. It's still it's from the 70s and it still stands up. It's still really good.
This movie's 2 hours plus.
What's the grade for Lord of the Rings?
I'm going to give it an A-.
Wow. Okay.
2 hours plus. So you're saying it's a short one?
Yeah.
Well,
if Peter
these days,
Jackson,
according to Peter Jackson,
anybody these days, nobody makes a 90-minute movie anymore.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie Foxx on Netflix.
Have you seen this special?
I haven't.
Almost clicked on it a couple of times.
Wow. It is powerful. First off, he cries through a good portion of it, because this is after his accident or his stroke, where he said, I should have, and I think I did die. And these people at this hospital in Atlanta saved me. But he's got the audience there. You can tell it's friends, it's family, people he knows. And he tells the story, and he doesn't pull any punches at all. But then he kind of gets into it, but I'm back, and he starts dancing. Then he goes over to the piano and he sings. Yeah. He's got the place on their feet.
Reminded of what a giant talent he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
don't expect a ton of laughs. I will say that we started to watch this movie or this special about 20 minutes in. We looked over and we were like, this is not what we thought we were getting. I'm sure it's good. And if we went in with the right mindset, maybe we had known that, but we were thinking like a comedy special, not a one-man show.
You definitely want to make sure the kids are in bed.
It was the first 20 minutes. There was not a laugh to be had. You know, he was crying. It was emotional, and it was like, okay, this wasn't what we were looking for.
It would be better advertised as a one-man show than a stand-up comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a miracle this guy's alive. I mean, they thought he was dead. They had to bring him back.
Wow. Okay. So you got a grade for this?
I'd give it a good A.
Okay.
I mean,
wow.
All right. It was powerful.
Right mindset. Check it out. Next week we get Phoenix with Santa Claus.
Oh no, I'm in Phoenix with Santa Claus. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought that was the name of the title, because it sounds like something that could come out.
Phoenix, no, you get I'm
Santa
in
Claus.
Phoenix. You get Mufasa the Lion King in the IMAX, which looks pretty good.
It does look good, but gosh, do they have to bleed every successful movie dry at Disney?
It's the Disney way.
Jeez.
Come on. You get Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which might be maybe a step too far. I don't know.
And then Homestead comes out this week. I saw the preview for this. This is like everybody gets into a bunker because the world is ending.
Pretty much. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. Christmas movie.
I mean, he's got a cowboy hat on, so with
All I actually think a complete unknown, the Bob Dylan story with Timothy Chalamet, looks really good. Is there early buzz yet?
The early buzz is really good.
Oscars.
Yeah.
I mean, he even looks like him.
Yeah. Well,
Young
early
Dylan.
buzz has it on one of the best of the year lists already.
And he sings to camera. It's not like dubbed or anything. It's live singing.
And you can see Andy in the photo that's on the screen. You can see how long his fingernails are. So he got that part of Bob Dylan right.
Yeah, so
it looks really good. I was working on my top 10 list for the year, but I can't finish it until I see that movie.
All right. What about Baby Girl?
Have you seen the trailer for this?
No.
I see Nicole Kidman is in Baby Girl.
I had to go outside and walk around. Holy cow, is this
really?
Really, Mr. Movie?
It is heated. I think there's a ton of nudity.
I had to
Jeez,
turn the
did you have to
snowblower
hump
on
a
myself.
snowbank?
Yeah.
My gosh. Turn the snowblower on myself.
So we also get Nosferatu, which just watching the trailer,
no.
I don't think I can handle this.
No.
It looks so dark.
Yeah, don't you teach catechism? Do they still call it catechism?
I do. I might burst into flames.
Yeah, be careful about that. All right. Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holidays with your family, Mr. Movie.
Yeah, you guys too. Good to see you.
All right, thank you. It's
Good
Mr.
to
Movie
see you, Mr.
presented
Movie.
by P&P Small Engines, and it's time for Throwdowns.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Throw it down, Murph. Let's throw it down, Murph. There's been a lot of talk around college football about non-conference schedules, making some of us fear for the Cy-Hawk game, which is contracted through 2027. So, from 1 to 10, rate your level of confidence that game will be played in 2028.
Oh, 5. I just don't know. I mean, I do think right now the people in place are highly motivated to keep it going, and we all know the benefits to the state, despite what some of the loud rivalry people will tell you. This is the game that involves the most caring in the state of Iowa, and I think everyone's aware of that. It also, this is not incidentally, is the biggest influx of money this state has from a game. I mean, all boats come up from this game in many different ways. But I do think we need longer conference schedules, and I do think that puts this game in jeopardy because it just depends what they decide to do with the college football playoff. I don't think there's any way to know where we are in a couple of years.
I'm more confident than that. I feel like we're in a state of chaos right now in college football. Things are haywire. Decisions are just being, fired off the hip right and left. I feel like that's enough time for common sense to have risen back to the top and for the college football world to understand what it truly needs to stay relevant. This is it's too easy a decision to make. It's just too clear what the right answer is here to pass up on this thing. To let this go. I mean, college teams are coming back to these rivalries. I mean, they've seen what it's like without them.
It is, but how are you enjoying those Drake, Iowa State men's basketball games over at the Knapp Center?
I think I'm missing them, of course, but I just think that this is too high a level. You're talking about Power 5 conferences.
Yeah.
I think that matters too much. I mean, I think that, there are no fans in this state. There's no fan base in this state that can look at this and say, we don't want that. And we would be better off without it.
Andy, I'm going to give you these 4 teams or the field to win the Super Bowl. You get the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, and the Lions. Do you take those 4 or do you want the field?
I'll take those 4. Absolutely take those 4. No
Same. I would definitely take those 4. I think you made that too easy. Give me those 4.
All right. We'll see if you guys are right.
Leave the Chiefs out of that.
I'm marking the tape.
Yeah. Well,
you'd leave the Chiefs out of that.
No, leave the Chiefs out of it, and it's a more difficult choice to make.
Viking fans are pissed at you guys right now. All right, Murph, Christmas is 1 week from today. Are you done shopping?
I don't know. When do I get my stuff from the merch store?
Well, you've already bought it, so that's you've already shopped.
But I'm done.
Well, you have to wrap though.
That's called a bag.
But yeah, are you done shopping? Not wrapping.
I'm done. I'm done.
You have nothing else to buy.
Nope. Things dropped into a bag.
Well done.
And this is one of the things about empty nesting. I mean, Christmas, and the burden was far more on Jenny than me, by far. Can't emphasize that enough. But it has gotten easier because now we just draw names and it's like a one gift exchange. I mean, it used to be chaos, and long lists. And
draw names for who? Of your kids?
Yeah, the kids and Jenny and I, we all been, in some cases, fiancés, just everybody goes in, we draw a name, and you buy a present for that person.
That's a big step.
It's
guys
a
are
big
like
step.
You're the matriarch and patriarch of that group, and somehow or another you moved this chain over to pick somebody to buy one gift for.
You'll be happy to know we are still finding a way to spend plenty of money on them during the year.
You're in that weird window. I remember when my brothers and I were all adults but not married with kids yet, and like we would do Christmas late night, and you really kind of, and then it all changes again when grandkids come into the.
Yeah, my mom is at that position where she's just like, every year she's like, okay, I'm not doing any shopping. I don't know what anybody likes anymore. I'm gonna send you some money, and then you can go get what you want. And then I get this call like a week from Christmas, and it's my mom, and she's shopping.
Right.
And she needs help.
Couldn't stay away.
She needs some. I want to get a little something personal, but even that's driving her nuts, and she needs help. So, yeah, I got one more gift. I've got to buy. I haven't done enough. It's more fun when you put in the legwork, right? And when you have something that you can't wait to watch somebody open.
Since you brought it up, Murph, I'll let people know. Merch store items have shipped. They will be there in time for Christmas. I emailed everybody this morning, so you should see that in your inbox. But the store is still open, so you won't get anything in time for Christmas. But feel free to go shop at the merch store at iowaeverywhere.com. We'll still hook you up.
Awesome. The Birkwood Bullseye is back, and we have the shooting. The Birkwood Bullseye shooting is coming up this Friday. We'll be live at Birkwood Farms on Northeast 14th Street. All contestants are going to go home with something nice. Today's winner is Trevor Michael. Trevor loves pork and loves supporting local companies like Birkwood and Iowa Everywhere. Thank you for that, Trevor. The final list for Friday's Birkwood Farms Bullseye: Darwin Campbell, Jarrett Dewar, Joe Strotman, Catherine Pacha, Jason Sweeney, Josh Waymeyer, and Trevor Michael. So we will see all of you out there Friday afternoon for the Birkwood Bullseye. We'll try to get that on camera, too, for the people who are watching on YouTube. I love the Birkwood Bullseye. AD, how did this come about? Because we've been doing it for years. This is a really good idea somebody came up with.
Yeah, myself and Jenna Blazer, who worked at iHeart for a long time and now does her own, marketing company. She handles the Birkwood account, and she and I got together. We brainstormed some ideas. We came up with this, 4 or 5 years ago. We started doing it with the radio show and doing it on Facebook Live. So it's kind of nice now we have this video element where we can actually do it live on the show. Yeah, it's a cool, everybody wins something, so that's always one of the good contests. It's got that fun element of shooting the bullseye. But yeah, this is one of my better ideas, I will say.
Props to you and Jenna.
We should point out, props to you and Jenna, great idea. This is a good place if you want to pick up a couple of last-minute gifts, whether you got a dinner coming up or you just want to give something to somebody. Or, a pound of really good Iowa bacon. I mean, that thing's got that gift's got wheels on it. You take that out of state to a party. I mean, you move to the front of the line there with that kind of stuff. So this would be a good place if you want to, just stop in while we are there and do a little bit of shopping. I am planning on doing a little of that myself. So yeah, maybe that's where I'll get that gift. That last
drop off
gift
a little jerky for your friends Murph and Andy.
Give somebody a big ham. Here you go.
Time for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day. We call it the AD Squared.
Yeah, powered by Game Day Men's Health. You can find them in Ankeny in the Prairie Trail neighborhood, also in West Des Moines on University, and in North Liberty if you live on the eastern side of the state. This is one of the best things I've done all year is get on the testosterone shots. I go there every week, and it's so nice to kind of go there and see the people, but then to feel better and have more energy and just kind of generally, I'm working out more and not as tired in the evening. So I've really appreciated Game Day. One of the things I've really appreciated about Iowa Everywhere is that we can swear on this show. We don't have those FCC regulations bearing down on us like we had at the radio. So we could have like Lions coach Dan Campbell on and not be worried about what he's going to say. That's not the case if you host a radio show in Detroit, like what happened earlier this week.
You know what happens is, you win 11 in a row, and you lose, and then the sky falls. And I hate to say it, but we're not going to be able to win 11 in a row again for the rest of this season. We're just not going to be able to do it. And, what happens is you get used to eating filet, and I'm talking to all of us, and everything's good. Life's good, but you forgot what it was like when you had nothing and you ate your fucking molded bread, and it was just fine, and it gave you everything you needed. And sometimes you got to get punched in the mouth and remember what it used to be like to really appreciate where you are. And we'll do that. And so we got a bad taste in our mouth. We got kicked around the other day. We lost a few guys. And you know what? It's exactly what we needed. This is exactly what we needed. So we're going to bounce back. We're going to respond. We got guys that are about to have an unbelievable opportunity here. And we will play the game any way needed to win. We still got a good offense. We got plenty of defensive players. I can go rattle them off right now. We're going to put the best 11 on the field. We're going to freaking cut it loose. We're going to play with our special teams. And I don't give a crap if we got to win by 1 point for the rest of the year. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to be happy about it. We come out of the game with 50 yards of total offense and we win by 1, you're going to see smiles on my face. I promise you. All right. If it's the other way defensively, we give up 700 yards and we win by 1 point, you're going to see a fucking smile from my ear to ear. All right. I can promise you. So we're going to find a way and we're going to get it done.
And did not recognize at all the first time he did it.
Didn't flinch for a second.
I love the video, though. You can see the guy reach over and hit the dump button and hey, he's just I got it, guys. I got it.
Yep.
And then they're on edge after that. Because once somebody swears the first time, you're like, uh-oh, here we go.
And it's such an antiquated system, too. I mean, we all felt that like you're just on edge about somebody might hear profanity and people will be okay. Quickie poll results presented by WCI Pools and Spas.
Which is more unlikely? Drake starts 20-0 or Cam Ward plays in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. 57% say Drake. It is more unlikely that Drake goes 20-0.
Well, that's good news for your finger.
Cam Ward. Yeah. I will cut that finger off if he plays.
It's going to be a huge day for this show. It's going to be a record live tune-in. Thank you for being part of Murph and Andy on Iowa Everywhere. Please like, subscribe, review if you feel like it. We would appreciate it. It all helps. We're back Friday from Birkwood Farm, shooting at the Birkwood Bullseye. We'll hope you'll tune in then.